if you're just tuning in now, you may notice that it's not just my wonderful, handsome face that's on screen. I also have this ravishing, lovely lady, the maven of marketing and the business growth strategist, Ms. DeVore Richter, who's joining us.
Hi, happy to be here.
And we're going to have a fun day today. Before we get started, I just remembered I probably need to check something in my audio setting. Always good to check. Yeah, let's do that. Let's change our microphone. All right, so we should be good now. And we're just hanging out for a couple minutes before we get started. We have a hurricane right around the corner. Literally, it's creeping up on us. Right now it's in the tropics. And if you're from Florida, then you're probably very familiar with Irma, who is on her way.
Yes, we live in Florida, if you didn't know, and we're kind of used to hurricanes, but it's still a little preparation needs to happen.
Yes. And I'm sure you've probably by now heard of Hurricane Harvey, who came knocking on the door in Texas and really did some bad stuff to Houston. It was so inspirational to see, though, how many people were able to come in, volunteer, and contribute to their recovery. I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think, I always, in the middle of a negative situation, you always have to look for the positive, and you have to, Mr. Rogers actually has a saying where he says, look for the helpers. So I think that's always the cool thing is when you see bad things going on in the world, look for the helpers.
Definitely look for the helpers, look for the guiding lights, look for the silver linings, all those things that are in the world that are positive. They're always around us. We don't always take the time to really look for them. The news and a lot of people will get you to try to focus on all the negative Nancy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start focusing on positive things, you'll start seeing more of it and you'll start attracting more of it. So really cool stuff. In just a couple moments, we're going to get started. And it's going to be a powerful session because we're going to be talking about some key things that people aren't doing when they're using sales funnels. Now, if you don't know what a sales funnel is, we'll explain it. But if you do know what a sales funnel is and you're using them, then you definitely want to be tuning in because we're going to be sharing some things to avoid.
Yeah, they say, I was just listening to the Russell Brunson podcast this morning. He's like the king of sales funnels. And he said that websites are almost obsolete if you have a business. Not quite, but almost obsolete. And sales funnels are the new way to make money online. So stay tuned for more info.
And then we're also going to be talking about, really taking time, getting a plan to elevate your authority because there is a revolution happening. And this lady has coined the phrase on what's going on right now.
Yeah, I coined the phrase marketing identity revolution. You see this happening on television constantly in every industry. Dr. Oz, Barbara Corcoran, Richard Branson, Damon John, all these people have elevated their influence and their authority and their personal brand. And now everything that they put their name to turns to gold. It's the new trend in business ownership. Also, you can adapt these celebrity marketing secrets for your own business and for your own brand and turn everything that you touch into gold as well.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And so as we're coming up on time, we are going to get started. And what I'm going to do is we're going to bounce back and forth between video and slides. And we're going to have some dialogue, some conversations. If you have questions or you have things that you would like to add, we'd definitely like you to chat them in. Mm-hmm. Or if you're watching this on a repeat, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/rockmyimage. From there, you can connect with us personally on Facebook. But we'd like to hear your questions, your insights, and continue the dialogue. Without further ado, I'm going to start by jumping into the slides. And this should be fun. It always is. Oh, that's another reason we need the other computer. Not microphone, that one. All right, screen share on. All right, so here we are. My name is Kenny Harper, and I'm joined by DeVore Richter, and we're talking about how to multiply your profits with savvy sales funnels and elevated authority status. Now, what you're going to experience today is some information that can help amplify your business. It can help boost your profits. It can help rock your authority so you start attracting more things into your life. Now, the important thing is that I want you to do is make sure that you're tuned into this message. You can have a lot of different things going on. You have social media, people calling on the phone, different things that you have to do in your day. But I want you to take the time to tune into us right now and really pay attention to what we're sharing with you. If you're taking notes, that's awesome too, because you don't want to just hear these things. You actually want to implement them. If you're not implementing things, then they can't serve you. So imagine for a moment, if you can attract more opportunities into your life, more opportunities that gave you the ability to have more freedom in your life, so you can do the things that was really important to you. Imagine that you have ran a marketing campaign and you were able to multiply the results that you got from that marketing campaign. So you had more profitability. Imagine that for a moment, if you had worked your marketing and your sales and your systems to the point where you can work from anywhere and really spend time with the people that you love. All that is possible. And there's people right now that are doing that. They are rock star professionals, and you can do this too. But we need a little bit of focus. So would you like me to share these ideas? Jen and I are here today. We are going to be sharing some strategies. But if you'd like me to share, go ahead and chat yes in the chat window. And so we've got some people that are definitely interested in learning more. All right, so we have three main goals of this presentation, and here's what they are. Number one, we're going to share how sales funnels can multiply your profits. So if you're using sales funnels now, you definitely want to tune in, because we're going to share how you can multiply your profits and the things to avoid that most people don't know. If you're not using sales funnels, we're going to explain what they are and give you an idea of how you can begin implementing them. Number two, we're going to talk about the identity revolution. We're going to talk about the identity of revolution that is happening right now due to technology, and how you can start taking action so you can not get behind and miss out on the opportunity that is happening right now in this revolution. And last but not least, we're going to be sharing how to elevate your sales by elevating your status. Status is so important. It is how our current society operates. Even if you don't have a big ego, you can't ignore that status is really the thing that attracts opportunities to people. And if you're not focusing on elevating your status, you're going to be missing out. It's not about ego. It is about being able to attract the right opportunities, so then you can serve your higher purpose. So you're about to discover something really cool. We're kind of all right now in the matrix, and we're kind of all seeing something. We're all in this spot where we see reality is one thing. And we're going to discover and share with you how to look at things differently so you can start taking new actions and get new results. The challenge is a lot of other people are looking around, copying other people, and most people don't know what they're doing. So you're about to discover the fast track of how to get and multiply your results so you can have more profits, so you can have more freedom in your life. Now, I'm going to let Jen come in and jump in on the problem that we're having right now in the marketplace. The problem is really no differentiation. It's a bunch of clone babies.
Yeah, so no matter what industry you're in, competition is usually everyone's biggest problem. You know, when I started my career over 20 some years ago, I was in traditional advertising. And so to be a major player in marketing your business, you had to have big bucks, because only the people with big bucks could afford to buy commercials on television and commercials on the radio or put billboards up in order to attract new customers. But then the internet came along and leveled that playing field. So now everyone is a major player in the game. Everyone has access to the same tools. Everyone has access to the internet, where you can start your own TV channel on YouTube. You can start your own community on Facebook, or you can leverage the power of email marketing and landing pages and things like that, because it's not that expensive to get in the game. So the problem is internet and technology has leveled the playing field. So now you have more competition entering the game, making it harder for you to differentiate your business and be successful.
Exactly. So we've got to have a strategy to get past that. If you do not get past that, if you do not differentiate, then unfortunately, people start viewing you or your service or your product as a commodity. And a commodity is defined as a good or service whose wide availability typically leads to smaller profit margins and diminishes the importance of factors other than price. So we don't want to compete on price unless you're Walmart and you're really trying to be that low-cost leader. And that's really hard to do, especially in a service environment.
The other thing is that the middle class is disappearing. And the affluent market is growing. So if you're not marketing to the affluent and not marketing, and if you're marketing on price and you're not marketing to the affluent, you are trying to fight a losing battle.
So it's really important. And we look at this. Now, how can you recognize any of these faces? I'm sure you can at least recognize one. Okay, definitely some people are recognizing some faces. We have on the screen Barbara Corcoran, Damon John, Dr. Oz, Oprah Winfrey, Candy Johnson, and Russell Branson. Richard Branson. Dang it, I was getting him confused with Russell Brunson. That's why I jumped over him.
You're so funny.
So I would not confuse the name, and it happened regardless. Obviously, all these people are highly successful. You recognize their names because they've done a great job of putting their brand out there, really elevating their brand in a way that highlights them as an authority in their industry. Now, you might not recognize, say, Candy Johnson if you're not in that industry. But if you're familiar with the fashion industry or makeup industry, then chances are you probably know who she is. And this is an important thing to understand. You don't need to be so popular that everyone in the world knows who you are to have success or be an authority in your industry. You just need to be an authority in your industry so people in your industry know who you are, what you're about, the purpose you serve, and the value that you provide.
Can I tell my Barbara story?
Yes.
Okay. So a couple years ago, I was at the Entrepreneur Magazine conference in, where were we? Dallas. And Barbara Corcoran was the keynote speaker. And Barbara, as you know, is now famous because she's on Shark Tank. But she shared with us the story of how she got to become Barbara Corcoran, the famous person that is on Shark Tank. And it started by using her personal brand as a differentiator in her business. So Barbara started a commercial real estate company in New York City a few years ago, decades ago, probably 20-some years ago. And when she started it, she was in the #1 competitive industry in the entire market, New York City, doing something that was also very competitive. Commercial real estate sales was super competitive. And so Barbara said to herself, what can I do that my competition is not doing? And she simply, using the resources that were available to every other real estate agent in the market, compiled a report on the value of the properties that had sold in New York City on a weekly basis. And she compiled this report, made sense of it all, and then released it to the media in the form of the Corcoran Report. And this Corcoran Report got her free media attention that she couldn't even afford to buy at the time because her business was new, she was broke. And she ended up getting weekly media attention on the release of this Corcoran Report and became known as the expert in commercial real estate in New York City, just from elevating herself as an expert and providing value, sharing information that people really want and need. And that was the beginning of the Barbara Corcoran brand. And so when I heard her say that, my eyes opened and I had a light bulb moment. And I hope this is a light bulb moment for you. It's not that hard and it doesn't take a ton of money. You just have to think smart using the resources that you have and think, how could I provide value to my audience, elevate my status, become known as an expert because I'm providing value, and share it with the world.
Excellent. And that's so important. And you'll notice that this is happening more and more often, as Jen mentioned earlier. As technology has leveled the playing field, more people are doing this. So once upon a time, not everyone had a business card. Only the people who had a lot of money had business cards. Then now business cards become more affordable. Everyone has a business card. Next thing, it happened with websites. Only some companies had websites. as the playing field lowered, now everyone has a website. Now people have multiple websites. So you really need to make sure that you're staying competitive by working on your personal brand. It's how to amplify your business. Now here's a couple interesting facts. 92% of people trust recommendations from individuals even if they don't even know them over company brands. This comes from Entrepreneur. Now, Jen, for the longest time, companies would hire celebrities to market their company because celebrities had that facial recognition. Mm-hmm. And they had built rapport with their audience, even if it was a fake rapport because it's a character from a movie or TV show. But just because people recognized them, they have a level of trust. Mm-hmm. So here's an interesting thing I want to share with you and get your feedback on before we go ahead. Right now, what is happening is people are starting to trust influencers and personal brands over celebrities. It is happening right now that people are starting to trust them over celebrities. And what's your take on that?
Well, you see this a lot in the direct sales industry, right? Companies like Rodan and Fields, they have built their entire company on the influence and the leverage of the personal endorsement and recommendation of an entire product line and the power of social media to distribute that product line's message to a mass community. And so it's not just in the direct sales industry. You see it in a lot of other industries too. Big brands will put the product in the hand of the key influencers, the people that their target market look up to, the people that have audience on social media or have influence over people because they have events or a television program or a radio show, whatever the way that they monetize their audience. And big brands will actually put the product in their hand, and that's how they're making their marketing. In the old days, when I was in advertising, we called it product placement, but it was only available to people that had television shows. And so then you would see, Michael J. Fox or something riding a skateboard, drinking a Pepsi, and Pepsi was paying for that product placement. It's the same thing. It's just that instead of Pepsi having to pay Michael J. Fox to drink a Pepsi on a movie, they're now paying regular folks, people that just have access to building an audience. They're paying them the same amount of money because like I said, the technology is available to all of us. We don't have to be rich and famous movie stars. We can just be ourselves. But because we have an audience, we're making an impact. Companies and your own brand can reach a further audience.
Excellent. So it's not even that you have to have that large audience and you get a brand to do product placement. That's icing on the cake. Even if you just take the time to build your brand so you have more rapport for your potential customers, that is really where this can be empowering to you and your business. So here's the other problem that we're facing right now. Because technology is changing the playing field, old traditional advertising is falling off. It still works. I'm not going to say it doesn't get any results, that TV commercials or radio or billboards or anything do not work at all. They still have some results, but they're very expensive and the results are diminishing. People are tuning out these messages. People don't like to get traditional advertising. They can skip around. They can choose where they want to put their time and attention. Once upon a time, we only had so many TV shows that you could tune into, and they were live, and you really didn't have a lot of options on what you wanted to watch. Now we have things on demand. You can jump anywhere you want to. You don't have to even be in front of a TV. You can do this on your phone. So people are not being as receptive to traditional advertising. And that's where we're talking about funnels here. Because if you're looking at the screen, you can notice that this is kind of a funnel. I've been talking about sales funnels. If you're not familiar with sales funnels, they've been around for quite some time. It is not a new thing. Technology has changed. So being able to automate this process has changed, but sales funnels have been around for quite some time in the fact of having a process from taking a potential customer to be aware about a particular product. You had to first get them aware of something. Then they may be considering to take action. Maybe they're considering your product because you got their attention. And then you earn their preference. Now you've communicated to them why your product or service is better, and then you get the purchase. You get them to take action. Now, if you continue to work with them, and market to them, you can gain their loyalty and eventually advocacy, and they can be an advocate for your product. Now, each of these steps of the process requires different strategies and different actions. And prior to modern technology, we had to rely on traditional advertising, marketing, and sales. Typically, a salesperson would go and help people through the different processes or different steps of the purchase funnel.
Yeah, an online sales funnel basically just fast tracks this entire process. So instead of it taking, say, 6 months or a year for you to close a sale, you can now do it in a matter of minutes sometimes.
And it could be working for you with customers all across the country. In fact, all over the world, 24/7. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, with people all over the world. So the limitations that we once faced doing things in person, doing things one-on-one, are being lifted. Now, that doesn't mean there's still not a need for one-on-one attention for some things, but we don't need to do it for everything. We need to leverage technology for that. So here's an interesting stat. 44% of salespeople give up after one follow-up. 80% of sales requires 5 follow-ups. So in other words, 44% of salespeople aren't putting in 1/5 of the effort needed to close the deal. Now that's crazy. So that means if you're going to do marketing and you're going to do social media, you're going to do a webinar, and you're going to do events, you're going to get in a magazine, you're going to get on TV, you're going to do anything that's just going to get someone's attention. You're going to get their attention. They're going to raise their hand. They're going to show interest. If you don't have a sales funnel, if you don't have a strong follow-up plan, you're going to be missing a majority of the business that can come from those marketing efforts. And that's why, this presentation is talking about multiplying your profits using sales funnels. Because once you start doing better follow-up, once you start implementing these ideas in this system, that's how you're really going to be able to multiply what you're doing now, get more profitability out of everything that you're doing, so you can grow your business for more freedom and fulfillment. So now Jen's going to walk us through a little principle that we like to talk about, having status, system, and soul. And Jen, you want to share this insight? We can both weigh in on the matter.
Yeah, so for us, there are basically 3 main components that go into becoming a rock star professional. First, we say that you have to elevate your status in order for your marketing to be successful. And as Kenny has mentioned before, you're elevating your brand, not so that you can stroke your ego and say, look at me, I'm so great. It's more about how are you providing value to your audience, and how are you earning their attention, and how are you creating community around you?
If you think about it, there's a lot of great business owners and entrepreneurs out there. And you may know some of them, you may even be one of them. And maybe you're not getting your fair share. And that may be because you're not getting your message out there, or you don't have the status that attracts the audience. It's the same thing in the entertainment world. There's some really powerful entertainers out there who can be great musicians or comedians, actors, but if they don't have the status, they're not going to get the part.
Yeah, they're like a best kept secret.
So having the status, getting the attention of people, being able to pull their attention so you have the opportunity to earn their business is an important part of the equation. Next up, we have systems.
So you can't just focus on elevating your status and attracting attention and providing value. You also have to have systems in place so that your audience members know how they do business with you. People want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So if I go to a concert with my favorite artist, say James Taylor, okay? If I go to his concert, I want a little piece of him. I want to be able to take his new CD home with me or buy a t-shirt. And so he needs to have a system in place to ensure that I can do that. And the same thing translates into business ownership and online systems as well.
Definitely. Just like one of the prior slides shared, if you get a lot of attention, you get everyone to go to your concert, but you don't have a system to make sure that you can get those people to go from attendees to being ongoing fans or advocates, you're missing the boat. And last but not least, the third component that we think will lead you to the fame, fortune, and freedom that you ultimately deserve is soul.
Yeah. So money isn't everything. And a lot of times I think business owners get into business and they're focused on the next buck and the next lead and how much money am I going to make? And if that's what's motivating you, you're probably going to burn out. You need to have something deeper. You need to have a bigger reason why you're doing what you're doing. What difference are you trying to make? What impact are you trying to make? And how is this business going to impact your life as well? What's going to keep you motivated to get up every morning and want to do it? What is the bigger purpose behind your business?
If you want to have people attracted to you and get behind your movement and help amplify it to take it to new heights, you want to have that soul component. It's for your own motivation. It's also to get other people on board with your movement so you can be the rockstar professional. Status plus system plus soul equals freedom. Now, if you know me, my name is Kenny Harper. I'm with Rock My Image and I'm a speaker, author. I've done a lot of great things with companies from small startup entrepreneurs to large global brands, and I'm really honored to get the opportunity to be here with my business partner, DeVore Richter. She has a great podcast available on iTunes. She is a Huffington Post contributor, and she has earned her claim to fame working on some amazing campaigns, even for Kennedy Space Center. She has a master's degree in business management and really is a rock star professional. Now, question for you is, why do people respond to marketing? You need to think about that for a second. Jen, people respond to marketing for typically one of two reasons, right? To move away from a pain, moving away from something that's hurting them, a challenge, the stick, right? Or they're moving closer to pleasure, something that they desire, or the carrot. People typically make most of their purchase decisions based on emotion.
Yes.
Time and time again, people will show emotion is really where people make their purchasing decisions. So, recognize this person? I'm sure I have royalty rights to use this slide. But this is Keanu Reeves from The Matrix, right? He's Neo in The Matrix. And at this moment, he's looking at the spoon and he believes the spoon to be a spoon. He does not realize that he's in the Matrix and kind of looking at things with the blinders on. We make decisions based on the beliefs that we have. And we make purchase decisions based on the beliefs that we have. Everything that we do is based on the beliefs that we have. So in order to get people who you may find as an ideal customer to make a new decision to do business with you or buy your product or service, we're going to have to do something that's going to change their belief systems. All right, this photo looks a little bit graphic.
I might have you take this out on the next one.
But this, if you've seen The Matrix, you're familiar with what is going on here. In order for Neo to have a new understanding of things and see the world differently and have new skills, he needs to be injected with new ideas. He needs to be, new ideas need to be put into his belief system. And when he's done that successfully, he has the ability now to see things different. He can control the matrix. So that's ultimately, as a marketer, and by the way, if you didn't know, you're a marketer. If you own a business or you're an entrepreneur, you've got to be a marketer. It's part of things you need to do in order to be successful. So that's one of the things that you need to do and think of is your goal is to inject new ideas into your potential customer's mind so that they see reality differently and they are persuaded or influenced to take action in the direction you'd want them to take. So whether that's, moving them away from a pain or moving them towards a desire or combination of both, you're helping them make a decision that's going to get them to the goal that they're trying to achieve. My background, once upon a time, I was doing website design, and I had a belief system where, I'm trading time for money, and I believed that that was how I wanted to build my business. But I ran into a challenge that I only had so much time. And that's the same for everyone. It's the same for you, right? You only have so much time. So how do you grow a business? Now, traditionally, what people have done is they hire different people and they grow a business in the traditional fashion. But the challenge there is you're still typically limited based on how many people you can hire and what you can do. And I wondered, how can I grow a bigger business, a more successful business, a more profitable business? And what I ended up doing is I started to invest in my education. I invested in my education by going to workshops, by taking classes, by taking courses, by hiring coaches. And that, by doing that, I gained new ideas, new insights, and was able to take new actions leading to new results. This has given me the opportunity to go around the world, share my stories with people, and now I have multiple revenue streams, giving me more profitability, more freedom and fulfillment, and I'm actually more in tune with my true passion of helping people to succeed and thrive. The bigger reason, again, is why are we doing this in the first place? Is so we can have the time with the people that we care about. We have the freedom to do the things that we want to do in our lives. So I want you to think about that for yourself. What are the things that you are looking to do? What would you like to have more of in your life? And how can you amplify your business? We're going to show you some ideas. You ready? All right, who's ready for some ideas that they can start implementing? All right, here's the challenge. There's a lot of different information out there, guiding people in different directions. You have different people telling you different things. So what we need to do is we need to get a little focus. And today we're going to be sharing you some strategies from the Rockstar Professionals Blueprint. Jen, would you like to share a little bit about the Rockstar Professionals Blueprint?
Yeah, this is like our baby. It took us 4 years to develop this. When we saw this revolution happening in business, the marketing identity revolution, we said, how can we package these celebrity marketing secrets in a way that the normal everyday business owner like us would be able to implement for themselves? And so we started plotting out the path. We started plotting out a system that could be easily taught, easily replicated, and easily implemented, either with our support or without our support. And here was born the Rockstar Professionals Blueprint. And there are basically 5 main arms to it, but the goal is to move you from the foundation of a solid business of being a brand all the way up to becoming a rockstar professional.
All right, and today we're going to be sharing some from the Rock Your Authority arm. We're talking about some strategies that you can implement to start elevating your status. Again, a lot of people we run into, business owners and entrepreneurs, they say, that's great to elevate your status, you attract more opportunities, yeah, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I can. They said, yes, you can. We're going to give you the strategies. We're also going to be sharing a little bit from the 4th arm, Amplify Your Business, where we're really talking about sales funnels, automating your business so you can have more freedom to be rocking your authority. Ultimately, with the desired goal of becoming the rockstar professional, where you use your unique gifts, follow your true passion, and serve a higher purpose to thrive in life. So let's get started. Number 1, how sales funnels can multiply your profits. And we talked a little bit about this just a moment ago. Ultimately, you want to get people through the process of having awareness, down to consideration, to taking action, to repeat business, to being an advocate. And by leveraging technology, you can automate the process to make it quicker and get better results. So think about this. A sales funnel, an automated sales funnel, could be like having an army of sales professionals out there working for you 24/7. So do you think that would automatically help your business? If you were leveraging a system that can follow up with leads, that can nurture leads from taking them from an awareness to consideration, to taking action, to building their rapport, to earn repeat business, and potentially be an advocate.
Yeah, it's basically your sales funnel becomes a silent salesperson that's working for you 24 hours a day. And you don't have to pay for it to take vacation. You don't have to pay workman's comp. You don't have to pay for any of those types of things. It's just working for you 24/7 because it never gets tired.
Now, the one mistake a lot of people make is they try to just do one sales funnel for their whole process. There needs to be multiple sales funnels for multiple stages of the process of the funnel. And this does not completely replace a salesperson, but it can help increase the process or increase the results of the process so you get people who are really qualified when they actually talk to a salesperson. So you recognize this game? Jen, you recognize this game?
Operation?
Yes. This game used to scare the crap out of me when I was a kid. I would touch the little side of the thing. I'm like, oh gosh, my heartbeat. Well, ultimately, in your marketing, when you were trying to get someone to take action, you're ultimately wanting to move them away from a pain or towards their desire. And you need to put a message out that is going to strike a chord. You want to get that zzz, you want it to open their eyes, you want them to feel it. If you can do that successfully, that's how you can earn business. Now, if you're just going to do a one-off, you're just going to put a marketing piece out there, I'm going to put a postcard, send it in the mail, people get it, and then think, why didn't they buy? Then that's going to be your problem. One and done just does not work. You need a multiple stages to work people through the process. It is a process. We don't have time to go through this whole example right now, but it just will give you the quick example that a one-tier approach profitability is a small fraction of what you can do with a two-tier or multi-approach campaign. You could run the numbers, you can go through this at a later time, but for the most part, when you have multiple tiers in your marketing approach, you're going to be more profitable in the long run. So, one thing you need to do is to get the scale to flip. Is someone going to take action with you, or are they going to take action elsewhere, or no action? Ultimately, the sales funnel, your marketing messages, the information that you put out there needs to hit the buzzer and flip the switch to put more weight in the side that they will take action with you, whether that's buying your product or your service. So you'll maybe need to share why to take action in the first place. Maybe they need to be explained, hey, if you don't take care of the situation, it's going to get worse, or you can have more opportunity if you do take a certain action. So you want to increase the desire, emphasize the pain or the challenge that they're in, and talk about your solution, your value proposition, why your solution is better than other solutions out there, and then why you, your claim to fame, your personal brand. All these things you can communicate through your sales funnel and strategic marketing messages. Now, here's something you want to avoid. Bueller. You recognize this, Jen?
Oh, yeah. I love that movie.
So Ferris Bueller's Day Off. People are falling asleep in the class. If you're doing marketing and it's not interesting, it's not catching people's attention, it's not getting them stimulated in some way, shape, or form by being entertaining, and you're just talking about sales, and just putting that message out there, you're going to fall flat. You need to have an approach to creating interesting marketing messages. That's why we've developed the Rockstar Professionals Jumpstart trainings, where we get professionals from around the nation to come together and really work on some creative marketing ideas, creative storytelling ideas, and work together as a collaboration. Because it can be challenging to come up with ideas on your own. So collaborating and putting your thoughts together while following a system can be really beneficial. So these Jumpstart Power Days we do on a regular basis, and in a moment I'm going to share with you how you can learn more about this opportunity. Another thing you want to have people avoid is being blocked by fear. Fear will prevent people from taking action. It's the #1 reason why people don't take action. They have fear that something won't work out. They have fear that maybe it won't be the best decision they've ever made. And so they won't take action. So as rockstar professionals, we don't let fear block us. We've got to make sure that we're leading with belief, with faith, with an abundant mindset. And your marketing message needs to help move away the fear from your potential customers. So sales funnels can do that. You do that by sharing case studies, testimonials, and stories of how your product or service has helped people achieve the success that they want. You want to let them see that they are Neo in their matrix, and by using your product or service, they can overcome the obstacles that are blocking them from the things that they want. So ultimately, that is your job using sales funnels. Now, #2, we're going to talk about the identity revolution. We talked about it a bit in the opening, but so we'll go ahead and just get into it. We talked about why we're talking about it. There's a revolution happening right now where entrepreneurs and business owners are elevating their personal brands, leading with their authority, and it's an important part to this whole thing. People will trust people more than they do customers. So real quick, here we see on the screen, we have your ideal audience. You need to know what problems they have, and then you need to be able to share your unique value or your claim to fame.
Yeah, basically this is what I talked about at the beginning of the presentation, where elevating your brand isn't so much about, look at me, I'm so great. It's more about what problem can you solve for your audience and providing a unique perspective and unique value to them. You need to be answering the questions that they have, providing solutions, entertaining them, educating them, and building a community that they can become part of.
Excellent. So when you differentiate yourself and put your message out there, you're being different. And different is better than better. That's a great quote by Sally Hogshead. And it really is. You can't always be the best. You may say there's so many other people or so many other companies offering similar products or services. There are. And maybe you can't be the best, but you can be different and you can relate to your target audience more than other people can. And that's why personal branding is so powerful. So there are 5 pillars in personal branding. And these are values, your style and color, your message and tone, the experience that you provide, the status and edge. In our Jumpstart Power Days, the Personal Branding Power Days, we go over these in more detail. And if you're not really defining these things, if you haven't really defined these things for your personal brand at this point in time, that's definitely a recommendation that you need to do that. By doing this, when you identify your values, your color, your tone, your experience, your status, and your edge, this is really what makes you you. When you put that message out there, you start attracting the right people. Now, Jen, I see 2 pairs of jeans on the screen. Can you tell the difference between these?
No.
They look very similar, right? And maybe there's a little difference. You see a little bit of color differentiation where the pair of jeans on the left are a little darker maybe. And she has her leg out. Do you think that's maybe? No, that's not it.
I have a story I can tell about this.
Okay.
Okay. So basically what Kenny is demonstrating here is that from the outside perspective, jeans are a great example of the power of branding. And I have a story that I'd like to share with you if I have your permission to share another story. So one day I was walking around Nordstrom and I was looking for a new pair of skinny jeans to wear because, you know, I like jeans and it's about to be fall and I want to have my pumpkin spice latte and wear jeans. So I'm walking around Nordstrom and I'm looking for some jeans. And I tried on this pair that was beautiful. They look really similar to the ones that are on the screen. And I tried them on. I liked them, but they were like $85. And I was like, not today. I don't love them that much. So I folded them up, put them back, and continued to walk around the store, and enjoying the environment and the coffee and the crowd, and just listening to the cool music and just having a great time in Nordstrom. So when I was done with Nordstrom, I walked outside, went next door to a boutique, a little locally owned boutique. And the shop owner there, I told her I was looking for jeans. She shows me a pair on the clearance rack that is $7 that looks exactly like the $85 pair of jeans that I just tried on at Nordstrom. No brainer, I purchased them. Now, the point is that sometimes things look exactly the same, but the brand of Nordstrom was what originally drew me into that store. And if I would have been having maybe a different moment, I probably would have paid for the $85 pair of jeans. I just wasn't going to go for it that day. But the $7 pair of jeans, I'm wearing them right now. That's so funny. The $7 pair of jeans, I still love. They're exactly the same. The quality is similar, but the branding between charging $70 or $85 for a pair of jeans and $7 for a pair of jeans is all in the branding. It's all in the experience that you provide. It's all in the packaging, the environment, and all of the marketing messages that they've built up around why someone would pay $85 for a pair of jeans.
Totally noteworthy. By the way, the difference between these pair of jeans on screen is the one on the right is a $30 pair of jeans. The one on the left is a pair of jeans that go over $1,000. That's amazing. And you might say, why would someone pay $1,000 for a pair of jeans? It's ultimately status.
Brand, yeah.
It's the brand has value, and people are buying it for the status that comes along with buying the pair of jeans. They need to buy a pair of jeans. They don't have to, but they're doing it to elevate their status. So status is important for attracting new opportunities. It's important for people. And the question for you is, if they lower the price of the jeans to $30, would they have the same status? And the answer is no, because then everyone would buy them and they would lose their uniqueness. So uniqueness, differentiation, that is really where this example is about. You've got to be differentiated to be able to stand out. And when you're different, you're being able to build a different level of status. And this works for any industry. This works for any profession. We have people that we've worked with, from Olympic gymnasts to doctors, sales professionals, estheticians, speakers, attorneys, photographers, realtors, all sorts of industries. So this is not, I don't know if it's going to work for me. This works for any entrepreneur, any business owner. Even if you're working in a job, you want to work on your personal brand. It is not going away. It is only going to continue to become more and more important. The sooner you get started, the sooner you're going to start reaping the rewards, and you're going to avoid getting behind. So last, we're in elevating sales with status. We talked about sales, we talked about status, and now how can you elevate sales with status? Celebrity status. Again, we're talking about building status to the point of you're a celebrity or you're an authority in your industry. You do not need to be known by the world, but you do want to be known by the people in your industry. They will roll out a red carpet for people with status. People with status get people to come to them with all sorts of opportunities. Autographs, book signings, product placement, product launches, all sorts of opportunities. And it's not because what they do, it's because who they are and the status that they've developed. So status is so important. It's why people will pay $1,000 for a pair of jeans. It's why people will line up miles to see a celebrity. It's why celebrities get paid the most for doing what they do. It's not because they're just the most talented actors. There's a lot of actors and actresses out there that are really great, but they don't have the status. The status really is really important. And having a brand, Rock My Image is all about, really building your brand, and it's important because it communicates who you are, what you do, the purpose you serve, the value that you provide. It lets people know what you're about. And if they don't know what you're about, the chances of you getting opportunities is very small. So brand is highly important. If you're trying to get a tune out there, you want to know that you need a guitar. A brand is clarity on what instrument you may have or the value you put out there. But status is really how you amplify that brand. Status really takes it to another level. So brand, gotta have it, must have it, only can succeed with it. Status is really how you're going to amplify your message and take it to the next level. By the way, do you know who this is?
I do. It's actually Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. Yeah, right. So the image on the left, now this isn't to say you need to wear meat dresses or wear a lot of makeup or be crazy like Lady Gaga, but this is to say the image on the left is a rather plain sort of image. It looks like anybody else. The image on the right has differentiated, has positioned itself to where it is attracting attention. You don't need to be wearing makeup and looking crazy like Lady Gaga sometimes does to do this, but you do need to differentiate. You do need to position yourself as a thought leader in your industry.
Well, I like to just bring up the point, you know, how much money do teachers make, Kenny?
Unfortunately, they don't make what they're worth. They don't make a lot.
They're totally undervalued for the impact that they make on the world. But the reality is that teachers and people that educate generally make around $40,000 a year. Now, how much money do entertainers and celebrities make?
Ridiculous heaps of money that seem unwarranted.
Yeah, because people don't want to be educated, but they do want to be entertained. So how can you put some more entertainment value into your business and into your marketing?
Very important. You know, we were talking earlier about, you know, your sales funnel and putting out messages. If you're putting out kind of basic messages and you're not being creative with your messages and you're not putting out something that people would be interested in reading because it's just fun and interesting, then you're going to fall flat. So, by the way, you recognize this guy?
He looks a lot different.
Oh my gosh. This guy looks kind of ridiculous. What is going on with that shirt? If you didn't recognize him there, perhaps you recognize him here.
Wow.
All right, that's Tony Robbins. And if you're not familiar with Tony Robbins, that's pretty amazing. Tony Robbins is he's the most successful speaker, entrepreneurial coach out there with people all around the world, books, products. He's a pioneer in this industry.
Right.
And so let me give you some more examples. So now here's another picture of him. This is around the same time period, but this picture alone communicates something. What does that communicate to you, Jan?
That people that share a message from their heart with energy and passion and enthusiasm can build an audience and have a lot of fun doing it.
Awesome. It shares, you know, it's kind of social proof on who he is. The pictures on the left really don't tell you much about him at all. The picture in the middle right now shares that this guy's kind of a credible person. This guy has status. This guy kind of knows what he's doing. What does this picture communicate?
That he associates with other influencers of a high status.
And by associating with other influencers such as Oprah, does that elevate his status?
Definitely.
Definitely. Oprah is probably the queen of personal branding. And by being on the same stage with Oprah, that is elevating his status. You can do this for yourself. Positioning, the pictures that you put out there, the pictures that you share, who you're associated with, they can either work for you or work against you. Make sure that you're paying attention to what you're putting out there in market. Here's another picture. It's him on his own book. Having a book elevates status. Having a book shows thought leadership. So you may have a book in you. You may feel like you have a book or experiences in you. But even if you don't, that doesn't mean you can't write a book and can't get your ideas out there. There are many different strategies that you can use to create books, whether it's your own ideas or accumulating and gathering ideas from other people. You can be the thought leader that puts your spin on those ideas so people see you as the thought leader, which will elevate your status. And, you know, being in PR, being in magazines, on TV, in interviews, associated with, you know, good magazines, right? You don't want to be on the tabloids necessarily, but good magazines that show success will help elevate your success as well.
I just want to share a quick story about Tony Robbins. My friend Charles, oh, you met him from Orlando. Mm-hmm. My friend Charles actually just had the pleasure of attending a Tony Robbins conference. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And the thing that he came back from his experience at a Tony Robbins conference was that what Tony Robbins appears to be is actually who he is. And Charles said that his interaction with Tony, he actually got to speak to him. His interaction with Tony demonstrated that this guy is not just, you know, talking a big talk. He's actually walking it out. And Charles felt like he was encouraged and inspired personally by Tony Robbins also. So I just wanted to bring that out, that it's not just all about the show and being perceived as one thing. You actually have to be doing the things as well and making an impact and a positive difference in people's lives.
That is true. So what I'm showing you on the screen comes some visual proof, some social proof that he is who he says he is. And he's got to make sure that he puts this out there so people know who he is, what he's about, the purpose he serves, the value that he provides. This differentiates him off the bat and elevates his status. Last year, I had the opportunity to speak at the Harvard Faculty Club's Business Expert Forum. I was on stage in front of over 100 thought leaders from around the world, had the opportunity to have my story published in a book, Thought Leaders, and it was really a great experience. And simply by sharing that, had several opportunities come from that experience and earn business just by sharing that online, letting people kind of see, you know, that I'm actually walking the walk that I talk. So you got to be able to highlight the things that you're doing, feel comfortable that you're not doing it for ego. You're doing it because you believe in the value that you provide, and you're there to serve people with the things that you are able to help them with. So right here on the screen, we have 8 strategies to elevate your status. 8 strategies to elevate your status, which include book authorship. We talked a little bit about that. Authority marketing. It's really kind of taking images and write-ups and things that can help elevate your status and marketing that. Content publishing and getting published on thought leadership websites such as the Huffington Post, which Jen is a contributor of. Association, who you're associated with, or what professional networks or organizations you're associated with. Public relations, being on TV, being on radio, being interviewed. Again, showing thought leadership. Public speaking, whether you're doing events, putting on your own events, or speaking at other conferences or organizations. Event marketing. It's really more about creating your own event, putting it out there, showing that you can bring people together for a better cause, bigger cause. Product development, whether you're creating your own courses, your own training materials, your own products, you're putting your thoughts into things that people can purchase, and that all these things help elevate your status. So if you're looking, what can I do to help elevate my status? These are some strategies. And Jen, you've actually implemented some of these, and you've seen the results within a relatively short period of time.
I have implemented all of them in a very short period of time.
So yeah, and you've seen some results. You're actually getting called to do some national speakers, speaking gigs, and conferences from doing these things.
Yeah, so now I'm a national keynote speaker at women's conferences. I get interviewed in the media at least probably once a week. I'm going to be on First Coast Connect with Melissa Ross on September 18th. So yeah, these ideas work, and it's now, you know, like being a keynote speaker, I'm not going out and pushing product or, you know, marketing our business, but I'm being put in the spotlight, and I'm actually being paid to do it, which is amazing. And also, like, being in the media and being a media expert related to business, I wouldn't be able to afford the television commercial or the radio time that people are just giving me. I recently had a 30-minute television interview on a show related to business ownership. So it's very, very valuable marketing strategies.
So basically, what you're saying is you can get paid to market your own business and gain more business from that.
Yes.
When you're following this system, you can get paid to get more business.
Yes.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's not.
It's not. And people have been doing this for quite some time. If you're paying attention and really start studying other people and successful entrepreneurs, you'll see that this is what they have been doing. This is what Tony Robbins does. This is what Oprah Winfrey does. This is what we're doing. This is what we help people do all across the country. We have a process for this. We call it the Authority of Ascension. And we really help people, assess where they're currently at right now in brand positioning, content marketing, lead generation, public speaking, book authorship, referral marketing, publicity, event marketing, and the overall principles. We help score where they're currently at. And then we have a checklist and a 90-day action planner where we'll help people develop a strategy so they can elevate their authority and their status so they can start attracting new business into their business, right? So this is really what it's all about is, sales funnels. When you have sales funnels, you get people to have the dialogue